think it's the way he sends me the link. I'm in my account.
Hello?
Are you on?
I'm not sure. Am I on?
You are on. What's your name?
It looks like I'm on. I'm down below here.
Are you receiving our audio?
I guess I'll stick this over here for now. Huh?
Oh, I get the same, when I try to get off of his link, I get the same error that I did before. And he had to send me, when he sent me the link twice, so, you know, last time when I had the error,
Chat.
last time I had the error, he sent me the link again, and then I clicked on it, and it worked. So why doesn't it work? I mean, I'm into Google. This is my Google account.
Learn more. Shit.
I clicked it, and Matt said that it was not on our end. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
How did you know that was Kathy?
See, I think when he sets me up, maybe he's setting me up under the wrong account. Like maybe there's something.
Maybe that is cousin area. You may want to try.
See, but Matt said, like, if it does it again, to go to YouTube.
Hey, Kathy.
And if I
Can
get
you hear me?
YouTube, I should be able to get to theirs.
Go back. Oh.
So,
Kathy, can you hear me? Check, check, check.
Go back. Is this on the link you clicked?
no, that's
No.
my motion stuff. Let's go back. I just clicked the link off of his.
And I clicked and I went right there.
But see, I had the same problem before. He resent me the email last time, and he goes, "Oh, try this link instead." And when he resent me the email,
Well, let me try
I got
sending
right in
you.
and could talk to him.
Well, let me try sending you this link.
So I don't know why it's not working. I mean, I'm signed into my Google account. It says Farrell N. And
I may
used the
have
right
to do
password.
this a little different and do it this way. Let's see.
What's yours?
Try that one. Are we live?
Kathy, are you there?
Or-
I can hear y'all. This is Amy at ITSCO, and I think I heard Barb in there.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yep,
think I'm
we're
okay
here.
too.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Yay, we're good to go then.
Hey, I'm in now too, but that's still weird.
There's Judy. Hi, Judy.
Hi, Barb.
You're not on there yet, Nathan?
I can see it's Amy, somebody, and 3 others are in your circle.
Can you see me?
Yep.
Do you see Nathan as somebody, or do you see him separately?
We don't see Nathan at all.
Yeah, I don't see Nathan.
But you're able to see what we're
Is
seeing?
it Amy? I'm seeing somebody.
Maybe it's...
Let's see, yeah, because that's Kathy. I see Kathy. Isn't that your?
Yeah, that's
Or
me.
not?
But you should see this at the bottom. Here, you gotta hit click join.
Oh, sorry. And now I bet I get everybody.
There, now you should show up. There.
There! Yay!
Hello,
Hi,
Nathan.
Nathan.
Hello. Is that mine or?
And you're broadcasting from Mars, is that right?
There we go. I think.
I see you.
Oh.
I had to send him the link once I was on, because he can't click for some reason on the email.
It tells me I don't have permission. I'm coming through yours. That's why.
So, Kathy, since you and Nathan are in the same room, I think that's why you're getting the...
Yeah.
I just moved over. That should help.
Hey, Nathan, that link I sent you only takes you to the web page. You then have to go to the logo, the icon at the top of the page that says click for the live link.
Yeah, but he doesn't even get the page.
Yeah, I just get a.
So in other words, Amy, Nathan is not part of the group that has access to the web page.
So, Nathan, you can't access the Showcase website?
I can access the website and everything else. I'm going to leave the room here. The only thing I can't access the web link. So everything else I have just fine.
Okay, well,
a
from
link is
now on,
one on it. It just says I don't have permission, but Kathy sent me the link to let me in.
so just to make sure I want to follow this through because there's so many different links that we're talking about. If you forget the email that Jeff sent out and you went straight to the Showcase website and went to the monthly Hangouts and then the October page, at the top of that page, there is a link, there's an icon, a picture you can click on to join the live Hangout. Does that work for you?
I just totally lost her.
Here. You lost her?
Or did you even try that, Nathan?
Sorry, I had you were lost on mine. I was lost out.
Right here.
Sorry, you were. Oh, there you're back on my screen. So I'm on Kathy. Sorry, you were. There you're back on my screen. So I'm on Kathy. Sorry, you were. There you're back on my screen. So I'm on Kathy. Sorry, you were. Why does that?
I don't know. You keep repeating.
Hi, Betsy.
I'm just hanging up.
You have such a delay. Funny.
Nathan, I just feel like we've been everywhere together. Thanks for laughing, John. I thought that was pretty funny, too.
Spot where maybe we don't get a delay. Yeah, you're breaking up. I can only hear part of it.
That's all right. Well, I mean, what I'm saying isn't that important, but I want to make sure you can hear for the rest of it. We'll work out the link some other time.
All right, yeah, I can always log off here and just go in and listen to it on Kathy's computer if that one's working. So
Either way.
Nathan, we may have to ask you to do that because if you start getting more people, you might want to use the same computer as Kathy as possible.
yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and just do that since I'm getting all the feedback and garble anyway. So I'm just going to hang up and go watch off of Kathy's. I think that will be much easier.
And my flight bag is full now since I've got sick to my stomach 3 times.
Oh, no.
Just kidding.
All right.
We'll ask folks that first log in if they wouldn't mind muting your microphones. That's the icon at the top of the screen that looks like a microphone. Click it so it becomes red. That would be great.
I'm having a lot of trouble hearing you, Jeff. I don't know if it's just me.
No, he was really breaking up, for, at least in my connection here, too.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Test 1, 2, 3.
Mine too.
What about me? Am I breaking up as well?
No, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, well, that's good. I'm the important part here. No, I'm kidding. So, Jeff's running the technology. I should say that.
We're at 4 o'clock.
Okay, all right. Well, it's 4 o'clock, and I think we're ready to get started. I want to welcome you on this dreary Monday in northeastern Ohio to our October Ohio Teacher Showcase Google Hangout. The focus for our Hangout today is going to be to talk about the SAMR model and also to use it for teaching us how to use technology to transform teaching and learning. As before, I'm Barbara Moore. I'm a 21st century learning consultant here at Western Reserve Public Media, and my compadre, Jeff Good, is here as well. He has 3 devices set up, so he's monitoring not only the live broadcast, but also the stream broadcast on YouTube and his email. So if there are any problems, there's no reason why you can't get a hold of him. We took a look at the evaluations from the last time and listened to what you said. We realized that it wasn't the best broadcast that we could have done, but it was our first one, and we were trying to work out most of the bumps, and we have done that. Jeff's been working very diligently to get rid of the technology problems, and we have also enlisted some of the other ITIP folks to help us with the presentations today. So it won't just be all about me. If you are live with us, you can use your chat room to send us questions. Jeff will monitor those. If you are watching the video stream on YouTube, you can use the comments section to make comments or to ask questions. And we will make sure that we repeat those questions and give good answers so that if anyone is going to be reviewing this after it's over or watching it for the first time on YouTube, they get all of the questions and answers. We hope you had an opportunity to take a look at and download or print some of the resources that are available on the website. We're going to be referring to the SAMR model. We're also going to be looking at the lesson plan that you have due pretty soon, and also the Carrington Wheel documents that were available on the resource page. There are a lot more documents and videos there that we have for you to look at, and we hope that you are able to access the SAMR resources that have been provided for you. So, without further ado, we're going to get started on talking about the SAMR model. Let me throw an overlay up here that actually is the one that you hopefully have printed out. And again, I hope that you have read in the Common Sense Media introduction to the SAMR model that Dr. Ruben Puentedura, I've been practicing that all afternoon and I blew it, developed this model as a way for teachers to evaluate how they're incorporating technology into their instructional practice. You can use SAMR to reflect upon how you are integrating and want to integrate technology into your classroom. Is it on active substitution or augmentation or modification or redefinition? Betsy Hood, the Director of E-Learning for Eastwood Local Schools, is going to grab the mic to talk to you a little bit about the SAMR model and how you can be using it to direct the integration of technology into your projects.
Thanks, Barb.
Betsy? Sure.
Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. This should be a review for you because during, if you remember, the face-to-face training that you would have attended in August or September, there would have been a segment on this during that training. So I'm just going to kind of in 3 minutes or less just walk through a quick little review of what the SAMR model is all about. And if you have any questions, again, don't forget that chat window is right there. But we'll start now. But SAMR model, really, what is it? It's something that you can use not just for this project, but just for your general use of technology in the classroom. We kind of look at it as, we introduced it during the face-to-face training as a lens to peer through as you design your PBL experiences. But again, this is something that you can use whether you're doing PBL or anything in your classroom that uses technology. It's simply a way for us to reflect on our practice, which is something you all do every day and you do a super job with it. This is simply a tool or a resource that you can use when you're really looking at your technology use in the classroom. As Barb just mentioned, you've got the 2 levels of enhancement, and that would be the substitution and augmentation. And those are considered to be kind of the baby steps in technology usage. And then you can jump up into what we would consider the transformative stages or the transformation stages, and that would be modification and redefinition. So what does that really mean? Does that mean that all of your technology usage and lessons should be in the redefinition? No. What this is all about is that this should be viewed as stages of your technology use. The goal is to really just move up the ladder or find lessons that aren't all just substitution at the most basic level, but activities that might be more of a redefinition or even an augmentation of how you're using technology. So don't think of this as it's all got to be up in these upper levels, because that's not what it's all about. What it really is looking at what you're already doing in the classroom and saying, how can I increase the use of my technology so that it's really truly deepening student learning, that it's really challenging students to use technology in very meaningful ways, in ways that you as educators are asked to really focus on kind of the higher order thinking skills and some of the skills that are required for students to be successful on the next generation assessments. So what might this look like in the classroom? It's the idea of, if you're a science teacher or a history teacher, an English teacher, whatever you're teaching, many of these stages or these ideas of how you can modify current lessons will work for you. So an example might be, if you use right now, if your students are doing a report, let's say they're doing a history report, and it might be something that they write out, traditionally type out and hand in. So if you're looking at SAMR and you're thinking, how can I move this up that ladder of technology integration, you might look at a substitution idea here, that instead of a Word document, maybe it's a PowerPoint, and then the students are then required to add maybe some visuals, some graphics, some images, that kind of thing, that piece that's asking students to just really dig a little bit deeper into the content and create that PowerPoint. Or you could go a little bit higher into the modification or redefinition, the M and the R in the SAMR model, and start thinking about things like, what if students were to do some group work and create a collaborative website that then includes all different types of media elements. It could be video, it could be audio podcasts, it could be maybe it's even a video that they created for that report. Maybe it's a science report, and maybe they've got a video of them actually going through the procedure of that lab report. So it's the idea that you've got a collaborative piece in there. It's the idea that you're using a lot more than just text to convey your understanding, but now students are creating an assignment, doing an assignment that is completely redefined. So it's no longer just this paper that they hand in with a Word document. It is now a multimedia element, which then, as we look at the SAMR model, is moving that technology usage into more of a realm on modification or redefinition. You could think about, another example might be, maybe it's researching a location. This is something that you may have seen during the face-to-face training, researching a location to travel to. And maybe that it's all about its composition and writing and literacy type of an assignment, and they've got to create a travel brochure. Well, if you're looking at substitution, that might be creating that PowerPoint that we were just talking about. If you're looking at something like augmentation, you might have them designing a brochure that has hyperlinks and images. If you're moving further up that ladder, once you get to the M in SAMR, so modification, maybe it's now a travel guide that students are collaboratively working on, using Google Docs, using other collaborative online tools to then produce a much more robust, visually appealing brochure instead of that Word document or that PowerPoint. Or maybe you move right up into that redefinition with this exact same task, and now you've got students using things like Google Earth. Maybe they're connecting with someone that lives in that location using Skype or Google Hangouts, gathering data. But again, now you're at the point where they go from writing just a paper or a brochure about a site to visit to now actually having those multimedia components. You've got that collaborative element. You're asking students to truly take on a task that's much more complex. The task is now redefined, and that's really truly what redefinition means in the SAMR model, is that you're redefining the task. You're calling upon higher order thinking skills for the students to be using for that task. And you're also increasing student engagement, you're increasing student collaboration. Hopefully you're promoting a lot more student questions, so the students really are taking on ownership of their learning with that technology as you move up the SAMR model. So there's all different ways to look at SAMR. What I would just say to you now, the last bit, is it's not meaning that every single one of your activities has to be an M or an R. It's the idea here that if you do have an activity or a lesson that you're doing in your classroom where We're just asking you to look at it a little more closely, look through that lens and say, hey, I think I can really up the ante here, increase the use of technology, promote some of those higher order thinking skills where students are synthesizing and evaluating information and using technology to do that. So again, if you're using the SAMR model and you're getting up into modification and redefinition a couple times just in a school year, you're doing really well. In the Showcase project, we're asking you to really take a look at, with a project-based learning unit, you are talking about a project that truly incorporates higher order thinking skills. So the idea of using technology and getting up to that M and that R, that modification and redefinition stage, will really add a lot to that PBL exercise. It's really going to challenge the students. So that's really what we're talking about with the SAMR model and the Showcase project. And we know you're doing great things already. We're thrilled you're a part of this. We love that you're not afraid to use the technology. So now we're just asking you, if you haven't already, and maybe you have, is really just take a look of your use of technology in this project and use the SAMR model as one of those lenses or a filter to really evaluate what you're doing with your students. We wish you a lot of luck, and we are here if you have questions. Thanks.
Wow, thank you, Amy, or Betsy, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Amy and thinking Betsy. Thank you, Betsy. That was great. Does anybody have any questions for Betsy? I see we have one chat comment. Thanks, John, for noticing our green screen. Anyone else who has a live question, take your mic off and go ahead and speak. Or if you have something that you want to call to our attention in the comments on the stream, please do. Okay. Okay, well, again, thanks, Betsy. That was great. You helped me understand the SAMR model a great deal more, too. So I appreciate that. As you know, your lesson plans are going to be due to your content experts on November 3rd. And Amy Palermo, who is the executive director of ITSCO in Columbus, is going to give you an explanation of the lesson planning and about the document you should use and the document naming conventions that we're going to ask you to use, and some direction about how to submit your documents to your content experts. So, Amy, take it away.
Thanks, Barb. So I'm going to go through the basic skills to make sure you know where the template is and how to turn it in. But also, after we go through that, I'm going to just hit a couple highlights of that lesson plan that'll bring it back to the SAMR model and how that application plays out in that lesson plan. So what I'm going to do first, and this should be fairly quick for you, I'm going to share my screen, and I am going through where we see everything on our on our Showcase website that you'll need for your lesson plan. So this is ohioteachershowcase.org, and the first thing that you will need is the template, the lesson plan template. And in the project info section, the very last link is Showcase Files. And when you click on that, that takes you to a page that has all of the resources that we have shared with you thus far. When you scroll down to the template section, the first thing on the list is Showcase Lesson Plan Template, and you can click to view. When you click on View, it will open in a new window. It is a spreadsheet. It's a Google spreadsheet. It's going to open and give you view-only privileges. What you need to do is go up to File and then select Copy. Mine's loading slowly here. You can go to File, make a copy, and you will want to name this. Now I'm going to switch back to show you our naming convention very quickly here. We're asking when you name files that you start everything with your district, then a dash, then your last name. And for lesson plan, you can just call it lesson plan. So when you do make a copy, you'll want to call start off with your district name. For me, that would be ITSCO. And then your last name. For me, that would be Palermo. And then lesson plan. And then when you say, okay, you now have your own copy of a lesson plan that you can use for the project. Now, when you do this, you will need to share that document with all of us. Now, I'm going to show you, I'm telling you everything, but we also have a video tutorial. I'm going to show you where to find that in just a minute, so if you need the directions again, you've got them. Once you make a copy of that document, you need to make sure that it is saved somewhere on your drive where you know it's located. I like to create a folder and put everything in the same folder, like showcase folder. However you organize it is fine and up to you. Let me go back to screen sharing so that I can walk you through this process. I'm going to leave the lesson plan up, and we will come back to that. For sharing, there's a blue share button that you can click on, and depending on what version you have of Google Docs, you will most likely need to click Advanced. Right now, this is set so private, only you can access. I'll want to change that to anyone with the link can access. And I'll click Save. And done. So now this is my own copy, and anyone that has the link will be able to access that. And that's important later on when you turn it in, so that your subject matter expert is able to see that. That's the project template. That's what you have to complete, and that is what you need to turn into your subject matter expert. So if I go back to the Showcase website, you have a section called Submitting Files. Here you have help and how-to. You go to that section, and it will go over all of the directions that I'm sharing with you today. That's where the naming convention is located. There are video tutorials for uploading documents to Google Drive, to submitting the forms. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Later on in a different showcase, we're going to talk about your videos, but those directions are here as well. So once you have your lesson plan, the next thing you need to do is turn it into your subject matter expert. And there's a link for each of the different subject areas, math, science, and social studies. So you'll click on the appropriate link. They all look the same. They're just dependent on what subject area your lesson plan pertains to. And here you can fill it out, your first, last name. You'll select your school district. And here's where you paste a link to your lesson plan. So you'll want to grab that lesson plan that you shared with everyone and highlight and copy the URL, and then you will paste that URL in the box on the submission form. If you have support materials, you are welcome to share those here if you think they are necessary for the subject matter expert to view and understand your lesson plan. I'm going to finish filling this out. I'm going to pretend like I am part of Archbishop Hoban. You click Submit, and it has gone to your subject matter expert. Since you have made everything shareable to those with the link, your subject matter expert will be able to pull this from the Google spreadsheet that all of this information is residing in. Does anyone have a question about copying, making your own copy of the lesson plan, the naming convention, or where you need to go to submit that lesson plan?
We're looking good, Amy. Nothing on the comments, and I don't see anything in chat.
Okay, and feel free to send those questions to us later if any pop up. If you'll notice on the form, it lets you know that your deadline for submitting your lesson plan to the content area experts is November 3rd. However, if you want to submit it earlier, you are welcome to. All right, So I just want to quickly point out a few things on your lesson plan that you need to be aware of. Let me share this screen with you again. I want to show you, it's row 8. It's describe how you'll use instructional strategies to support student learning of targeted content skills. Hopefully you will be talking about project-based learning in this section. When you go to the next one, describe how you will take best advantage of technology to support student learning of targeted content skills. What specifically will your incorporation of tech contribute to student understanding of targeted content skills? How will students' use of technology help them to build a deep understanding of the content and skills identified above? So this part is important to us and to ODE. This is the part where SAMR really comes into play. Later on in the lesson plan, I'll point it out in just a minute, it's going to ask you how you align your lesson plan to SAMR. They're wanting to know there what level are you on in the 4 different parts. You should be at least able in part of your lesson to identify it as redefinition or modification. And this section is where you're going to describe how that happens. One of the most important things you can do is explain how you are affecting student learning. And this will come into play. You spend the time now in your lesson plan to do this. It will come into play later when you're creating your video and or your reflection video. It's very important that this does more than increase engagement. We're not looking to increase engagement. We're looking to deepen understanding. So I want to make sure you use that space to focus on how this is transformational, how you are either doing a task redesign or a redefinition of the lesson in this area. Let me head back over to the lesson plan. So the other parts that I want to point out that can cause issue is with line 20. That's when it's asking you to evaluate based on SAMR. And that's, as I said, that's wanting you to identify where in the SAMR model your lesson falls. And again, you might have bits and pieces that fall in different parts. I want you to highlight here what you would be showing in the video, which should be on the higher end of the SAMR model. The technology filter, that is also in the file cabinet under resource filters. You've got your different filters there, and the tech integration filter is there as well. And I'll open that up if you have not seen it. Hopefully you have a copy. We went over this in our training previously. So what I want to point out in the filter, your greatest opportunities to expand on in the lesson plan is your depth of understanding. Here you have a lot of opportunity to talk about complex thinking. One, because we're talking about project-based learning, combined with the higher levels of SAMR and your higher order thinking, you should be able to give some pretty good descriptions of how you're aligning that portion to the technology filter. And also, I don't have it highlighted, but there's a section in here where it's talking about the authentic audience. And I apologize for not being able to scroll right to that portion. Contextual learning. It's right underneath. So those are just 2 areas that will be, should be straightforward for you to compare the filter to your lesson plan. And as you go through this, if you have any questions, let us know. We're happy to help you see how those meet. Any questions now that you want to ask me about the filter or its application to the lesson plan? The technology filter, one of the questions was asked, where do I find the technology filter rubric? If you go onto the Ohio Teacher Showcase website, and it's coming up here on your screen in just a second, and you go to Project Info and Showcase Files, you'll get a list of You scroll down, you'll see all of the resource filters for math, science, social studies, and technology. And just below that is the lesson plan template that you'll use for the project. Other questions? Well, fabulous. I think I've used up most of your time, Judy. We have just a few minutes left. So Barb, I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, Amy. Well, thank you very much. Judy Tucker, who is NWOET's Associate Director for Professional Development, would like to suggest some reflection about your project's relationship to the SAMR model. And you can reply about this in the interest of time in either the chat room or in the comment section, or if you would like to go to Padlet and make some comments, you go right ahead and do that. So, Judy, would you like to present your question and ask them to reflect about that?
Most of the things that I was going to ask are going to be covered in the lesson plan that's turned in, but if people could share some of the things, because each of the team members will not probably see the lesson plans of others, at least right away. So if they could in Padlet, which I think is, we need some participation from our team members instead of just the ITIP members putting information up. If you just click in the Padlet in that monthly Hangout page and just put your thoughts, maybe just a generalization of what your PBL project is, and then one thing that maybe you have made it more transformative, moved it up to the M or R stage, just to share with the others in our statewide membership. So it can be done now, or as you think about it, you can go back to that page at any time for the October monthly Hangout.
Any questions for Judy? Okay, well, Judy, thank you very much for thinking about that, and we'll look forward to seeing some of the comments in the Padlet section. And what I'd like to do to wrap up our discussion of SAMR right now is to call up the Alan Carrington model here. This again is within the information about the SAMR section, and what happens here is in Alan Carrington's, he calls it a pedagogy wheel. He begins with what he calls graduate attributes and capabilities, which we would refer to as what we want our students to know and be able to do upon graduation and what makes them college and career ready. Then he moves on to using Bloom's taxonomy, and he also moves out then to Bloom's action verbs. And he puts those in relationship to the digital activities from Bloom's revised taxonomy. So using all of these elements, Carrington shows how teachers can define the students' learning outcomes across more than one intellectual behavior. And we know that we don't look at Bloom's as a stepladder, but more of as an integration of the concepts that he wants us to apply. So then finally what Carrington does is he goes to Kathy Schrock, who's like one of my very favorite people. He used her Bloomin' apps, and he then added 62 apps to the wheel, which are all around the next to the last section of the wheel, and put them where they would most likely serve the pedagogy and demonstrates the integration of the SAMR model on the outer ring. So we hope that you take the time to study the wheel and to use some of Carrington's suggestions from moving from substituting technology within your classroom more towards the M and the R of the model, and to transform your students' learnings. So do you have any questions about that Carrington pedagogy model? Again, you can find that right within the resources, and I hope you take a look at it because he does suggest some very, very good apps that you can take a look at to use to go with his action verbs. The technology filter rubric, Amy, do you want to grab the mic and tell him once more? Tell John is asking where to find the technology filter rubric again.
He didn't. That was a previous question that we already got. Thanks,
I am so sorry. Okay. Well, then I am going to conclude our Google Hangout with a reminder for you to go ahead and post onto the Padlet. And I am going to also mention to you that we have here's the showcase overlay that's going to direct you to where you can get with the final evaluation. It's at goo.gl/ and remember that anything that is an abbreviation is very case sensitive, so if you want to go directly to the final evaluation, you can do that. I would also recommend or remind you that the next Hangout is about assessments, and it's going to be on November 17th. Same time, new place, but if you'll be receiving emails from us about where it is and what we're going to cover. So anything for the good of the order before we log out here. We will stay around for a few minutes after the broadcast in case you think of something all of a sudden. And thank you for your attention and for your questions, and thank you to Amy and to Betsy and to Judy for their participation today. And thanks to Jeff for getting through all of our tech problems and getting us all connected here. So have a good evening and a good week. Bye to everybody.